It is February 1st, which means it's time for a new $5 pattern of the month in my Etsy shop. For this month, I've chosen Basket Bliss as the $5 pattern. Stick around, I'm going to show you a little bit more of the details in this quilt. Basket Bliss is a fat eighth friendly quilt. It finishes at 75 inches by 90 inches, so it is a larger quilt. The basket blocks in this quilt are 12 inches finished, and then it has this really cute flower sashing, which I've used to separate out those basket blocks. For those of you unfamiliar with fat eighths, I feel like you don't hear about them as often as we do fat quarters. Fat eighths are basically 1/8 yard of fabric, but they're cut differently than with the fabric. So you can have fat eighths that are 9 inches by 22 inches, which is the size they are cut at in the Moda fat eighth bundle. This is an example of a fat eighth bundle right here. Fat eighths can also be cut in a size 18 inches by 11 inches. So sometimes you will see them cut at that size as well. Typically, patterns will tell you which size fat eighth you are working with. It is the same amount of fabric, 1/8 yard of fabric, but you can cut different pieces from a piece of fabric that measures 9 by 22 as opposed by one that measures 18 by 11. So just something to keep in mind when you see a pattern calling for a fat eighth. They do come in 2 different sizes. And I have 2 bundles, fat quarter bundle on one side, fat eighth bundle on the other side, so you can see the difference in the 2. I mention this because I know that there are a lot of newer quilters that have been joining in on watching this channel, and not everyone is familiar with fat eighths, but they are a really nice versatile piece of fabric, a little bit more fabric than a layer cake. So if I ever have a pattern where I can't cut all of the pieces I need from a layer cake square, which is 10 inches by 10 inches, then I will bump it up to a fat eighth bundle. Let's go ahead and take this quilt down. I'll show you the quilt in detail, show you the binding and the backing, and talk about it just a bit more. The fabrics I used on this quilt are from my Sunwashed line of fabric, which is just arriving into quilt shops right now. The pre-cuts shipped to quilt shops first, and the yardage has followed very soon after. If you don't see it in your quilt shop just yet, keep an eye out. It will be there very soon as it has started shipping. And this fabric line is just a bright, summery, full of flowers. We have bees. We have checks. It's just full of all kinds of summery goodness, and it is just the spot of color that I need in this wintry gray Ohio time of year. Now, for the backing, we used the large scale floral on the white background. The binding is pomegranate polka on navy. My quilter was Kayleen Perry for this one, and she used a quilting design called Rind, which is an echoing orange peel design. I will have the name of that as well as a link to that quilting pattern in the description box. The background fabric was the pomegranate polka, so the same print, well actually right here. It's the same print as the binding. It's this little polka dot print here. White on white is what was used for that background. As far as the construction on these blocks, it uses a lot of stitch and flip corners whenever you see these angles here. The same for the leaves and the flowers. Stitch and flip corners are a unit, a type of sewing that many quilters are familiar with. It would be the same type of sewing that you would use for snowball corners. You might use it for your flying geese units, and we just use it a lot. So if you're familiar with that technique, this quilt utilizes that quite a bit, and it just makes this happy basket flower-filled quilt. So this is the $5 pattern this month, the month of February 2023. It's available in PDF or paper patterns in my Etsy shop, and I will have that linked below so that you can snatch up your fun Basket Bliss quilt if this is something that you think that you would like to make. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box below, and I will do my best to answer those for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you again next time.